All right, we're going to take a look now at the latest manufactured storm to hit Ireland and the UK and Northern Europe. So yesterday, Storm Dave made its way towards Ireland. We're at 1 o'clock here now yesterday. We're going to play this now, and the eye of the storm is represented in the orange there, just southwest of Ireland. So 1 o'clock, it's making landfall towards Ireland, and then by 3, 4 o'clock it hits, goes across the country. By 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, it's moved over to the UK and onwards to Scandinavia. Now, we're going to go back here now. So we're on the wind animation here now, on the satellite imagery. So there it is again. So we've got back to the same time that we started at. So we're going to go over to the satellite imagery now, and we're going to have a look at all of the components that went into manufacturing this storm. So here we go. Over to satellite. Now, straight away, we can see at the edge of the weather system, we've got chemtrails everywhere. Look at the entire Bay of Biscay is just totally obliterated. Actually, it gets worse. This is 11 o'clock in the morning. By midday, then it gets worse. 1 o'clock, even worse again. Look at that. I mean, total coverage. The entire Bay of Biscay completely covered. Look at that. Unbelievable. An area almost the size of Spain. You can see it there. It's just unbelievable. Thousands of square miles of chemtrails. And also down here off Portugal, all the way down to Morocco, off the coast of Morocco, and up to the UK, English Channel. So we've got chemtrails all over the place there. We've got electromagnetic frequencies here all over the UK, microwaving the atmosphere. Look at this. Now, again, like previous videos, we're going to go back and forth on this, and you can see the electromagnetic frequency ripples remain stationary as the toxic chemtrail poison sweeps across the country. Electromagnetic frequency ripples remaining stationary because the frequencies are being transmitted from fixed transmitters. Look at that. See? Okay, and the same across the Irish Sea, those same microwave frequencies bombarding the atmosphere over Ireland, all over Wexford, Dublin. Look at that, see? So we've got the usual suspects that show up all the time in any engineered weather event, whether it be a storm or just basically solar radiation management blocking out our sun. The weather system is always seeded at the edge by chemtrails, and within it as well, inside the weather system. And then you'll see electromagnetic frequencies manipulating the system as well, heating all those particles, keeping them afloat, and manipulating and moving the system, weather system around. So look at also down the Irish Sea. Look at all the chemtrails there at 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Look at them. You can see them there, all in black. That's the cloud is so thick you can look at, but look, you can see them in black. Just the entire Irish Sea and the Celtic Sea, they're completely covered again. So again, the usual suspects always show up. So here we go. We're going to show you this image here again before we go any further in the video. So this is the image that really explains what they're doing with our weather, how they're achieving this weather control. So first they spray the chemtrails in the sky, then they turn up the frequencies with the frequency transmitters, and then they get their hurricanes, floods, and weather events. So, right, we're going to go over here now, and we're going to have a look. We're going to go back here. We're going to have a look. All right, we're going to play the weather. We're going to play this first of all, just to see the direction where the jet stream is coming from. Okay, so you can see it moving across. I'm going to zoom out here now. Coming across the Atlantic as it does, as always. And you can see it heads down towards the Azores and makes its way back up all along Spain and Portugal towards Ireland and the UK. So we'll go to the wind there so we can see that clearly. See there, all right? So they're seeding all along the edge of the cloud system there, that whole weather system, just in case you missed it. All the way along the edge. All the way along the edge of that. Now we're going to trace track back all the way 3 days in advance of Storm Dave hitting yesterday. when that would have been about the time it would have left mainland America on its way towards here. So we're going to go back to the 3rd of April and we're going to go into New York. Okay, so New York. So here we go. So we're talking about 3 days for a weather system to reach Europe from mainland America. Okay, so here we go. Look at straight away again. Very same story over here. Electromagnetic frequency ripples and chemtrails. Okay, so you got all the electromagnetic transmissions going on there from frequency transmitters, manipulating all of this poison and blocking our sun and causing climate chaos and blaming cow farts and you for exhaling the life-giving gas CO2 and enslaving us all in the name of saving us from these so-called climate crisis, this so-called climate crisis that we're supposedly in. The climate crisis is the psychopaths that are controlling our climate and causing climate chaos. People ask, why do they do this? Why do they do this? Because they have to keep the intensity of storms continuing, and they're going to ramp it up even more. We're going to have hurricanes here before long. They got to keep this whole narrative going because their entire global government, one world government system is hinging on this climate crisis, this green communism, to use the threat of the environment to enslave us all. So look at all of this. We're going to play this now. Again, frequency transmissions or frequency ripples remaining stationary as the toxic poisonous cloud sweeps across the landmass all over New York, Hartford, Worcester, Providence, up to Boston, and all the chemtrails there. Look at this. Again. So just think back to the image I showed you. First they spray the skies with the aerosols, then they hit it with the frequencies, and then they get the result in their manipulated weather systems. But they get the result in the form of storms, hurricanes, you name it, whatever they want. Different frequencies for different weather outcomes and different chemical mixes also for different weather outcomes. It's not just as simple as spraying any substance up there or hitting it with any frequency on whatever gigahertz range or megahertz range. All specific frequencies and specific chemical mixes for different weather outcomes. Again, look at all the way out into the Atlantic. We're talking hundreds of miles out there from New York. All of this same story. We're going to go back here. Look at all the chemtrails there first. Again, thousands and thousands of square miles of chemtrails. It's gone into nighttime there. We're going to go back just to show you. We've got to play this again because this is just unbelievable. So all the way from New York out. Okay. Look at all the chemtrails there. All right. Now we're going to go all the way out here, hundreds of miles out. And again, look at electromagnetic frequencies. And again, look at remaining stationary. So it's not coming from, they're not coming from land-based transmitters. Okay. Probably sea-based or space-based. Now we're going to look at patents in a minute that backs up all of this. These two crucial components for weather control, spraying chemtrails and applying electromagnetic frequencies. We're going to look at patents that talk about using these very components. So that was on the 3rd of April. So that was Storm Dave in its inception, and it made its way across then the 4th of April. And there we go. I've just fast forwarded there, but you get the message. So the entire jet stream all the way from North America, all the way across the Atlantic, down the Azores and up here then, completely hijacked. Totally hijacked by weather technology. Just pure evil. Not only causing climate chaos, but blocking our life-giving sun, poisoning all life. Just unbelievable. Now we're going to go over to Flight Radar 24 here now. We're just going to have a look at the culprits involved in this spraying operation. So we're going to go to yesterday at 3 o'clock. And this is speeded up 300 times. We'll start at 11 o'clock in the morning because the spraying operation started early anyway. So we're going to press play here. This is speeded up 300 times, 4th of April, midday. Here we go. So all of these commercial airplanes, all commercial airliners, Might be an odd military one in here. I haven't come across any in Europe. Yeah, lots of military spraying in America, but it's mainly commercial airlines, predominantly commercial airlines here in Europe. So we're gonna, right, so let's go in the Bay of Biscay. That's where the largest concentration was. So Ryanair, there we go. Michael O'Leary, a Bilderberger. He attends Bilderberg. Volatia, I never heard of that one. British Airways, Air Caribs, Ryanair again, there we go. Criminals up to their neck in EasyJet. Ryanair again, yeah, up to their neck in climate terrorism. Jet2, Norwegian Air, Jet2 again. Just anyhow, you get the message. All commercial airliners. Now, we're going to take a look now at the delivery systems that are fitted on all commercial airliners. Now, okay, so here is the Ryanair Boeing 737 spray pipe. This is for spraying the chemtrails that you just saw there, obliterating the atmosphere all over the world, from New York to Bay of Biscay to the English Channel to the Irish Sea. This is where they're spraying them from. This is one pipe on the Ryanair Boeing 737. All right, they will tell you on the establishment will tell us that they're drain tubes to drain off oil. All right. Now, if you believe that, that's up to you. All right, but I'm not having that. Okay. There's one pipe on that. Now, they've got 3 pipes on. This is the Aer Lingus Airbus A320. Now, why would they have 3 pipes for oil, all right? This is for multiple substances, for bigger weather systems, because this is transatlantic. You can see the green there, Aer Lingus there. It's transatlantic flights for souping up storms, more mixtures needed, more chemicals in the mix, okay? Pure evil, hidden in plain view, man. Next time you board a plane, there you go. Just look at your pipes. Tell everybody on the plane to notice it when they're getting on. Point it out. Never shut up about this. It's our silence that's permitting this evil to continue happening. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, I put these photos up on Facebook yesterday. They had 125,000 views. Just unbelievable. People were really hungry for the truth. Now, we're going to go back to today, and we're going to track Storm Dave here now further on from yesterday. Now, we're going to go, that was yesterday. So there we go again. Look at all that tampering. It's just unbelievable. And everybody's complaining that they feel so lethargic. I'm drained myself these days, and I just cannot wake up. I can't seem to be fresh no matter what I do. However healthy I eat, no matter how much exercise I get, just cannot wake up, cannot seem to be healthy. All right, now today, oh, here we go. Oh, look at you. Same story again today. Completely obliterated all the way from off coast of Morocco, Casablanca there. Again, thousands of square miles of chemtrails been laid. That's only what you can see. Like there's possibly, there we go. Look at, there's more. They're everywhere. Just pure evil. And notice how they're all just concentrated in specific areas, especially around here, along the edge of the weather system. This is where the heavy concentration is. Look at again, the Bay of Biscay completely obliterated, the atmosphere completely covered. Now look at all of the electromagnetic activity over France. Again, frequency ripples remaining stationary as the toxic chemtrail poison and artificial cloud sweeps across the country. Look at that. Not as visible there, you can see though. You can see them, they're there. There they are, look, see? Now, we're going to play ahead here now. Oh no, hang on, we're going to go to, I'm getting excited here now because look at this. Wait till you see this, just unbelievable. You can see Storm Dave here now moving on from Ireland. So actually we'll go back a little bit, we'll go to this morning. So it left the UK last night at 12:20 last night. So this morning at 12:20, and we're going to speed this up. We're going to zoom out now, and we're going to speed it up. So there he is, and he's intensifying. You can see the graph at the top there. It tells you. So we're up to 70-mile-an-hour winds there. It's intensifying, and there's the eye of the storm heading to Norway. Now we're going to. So this is hits Norway right at 12:50. Now straight away, all right. We're going to go over to the satellite and see what tampering is going on in the atmosphere there. All right. Let's have a little look. Now, we play here. We'll go to 1 o'clock. What do we have? Look at. Again, lo and behold, look. Look. One of the usual suspects, electromagnetic transmissions, frequency ripples bombarding the atmosphere, giving the people of Norway headaches, making them feel lethargic, making them feel sick, blocking their sun, creating a weather system, a storm, causing storm damage all over Scandinavia. You can see it there. Look at all that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So all the way from New York over to the Bay of Biscay, everywhere, worldwide, this is going on, people. I'm just concentrating here on the North Atlantic jet stream, but it's going on. Obviously not in mainland Africa. Morocco has some like weather modification programs, but not a whole lot of chemtrailing going on off the coast there. But also Mexico is a country that gets little or no chemtrails. Any day I go on here, there's no chemtrails or no artificial cloud, no frequency ripples. It's always natural skies. Well, there we go. It doesn't look too natural there. But most days, Mexico seems to be a great place to go live. I know a lot of people that are living there and they say never any chemtrails. So there are places to go. Guatemala apparently as well, and a few other South American countries. Now, we're going to go over here now and look at the patents. I was meant to do this earlier, but I got a bit carried away. Now, the patents for controlling the weather using electromagnetic fields. So here is a patent for methods for disrupting hurricane activity. Now, I'm going to read this here now. The abstract. Intensity increases in hurricanes result from electrical and magnetic conditions from cloud rotation that establish the appropriate environment for electromagnetic induction of conductive materials to heat energy. The means of slowing down or redirecting a hurricane begins by first locating a hurricane or tropical depression. The path of said hurricane must be anticipated in order to effectively slow down, reduce intensity, and steer the hurricane. By removing salt and other conductive materials from its path, a hurricane can be steered to cooler waters where the energy sources for said hurricane are not sufficient to sustain the storm. To maximize disruption of hurricanes, steps should be taken as early in formation as possible to disrupt the electrical connection and accumulation of charged particles. Now, this patent talks about slowing down hurricanes and moving it away from land out to sea, okay? But if that can be done, the opposite could also be done. Intensifying the hurricane could also be done, or creating a hurricane could also be done using similar methods. Now, the methods are talked about here. We're going to go to number 2 here, okay? Because we could go on all day. This goes on for ages, but I want to hit the key points here. Number 2, a method of disrupting hurricane activity by preventing or reducing an electrical connection of the electrical helical coil of an impending storm of any type of including a hurricane, or creating an electrical disconnect in an existing storm through any available means wherein electromagnetic fields characteristic of the storm are altered, controlled, or manipulated. Thanks, Harry. Perfect timing. Now, okay, so it talks about there replicating the electromagnetic field that the storm already has. So that's there is talking there about, let's say, a natural storm, which doesn't even exist anymore because our whole atmosphere is under siege. But let's say there was a natural storm. This patent here talks about mimicking those electromagnetic fields that have made that storm what it is. Those very characteristics, the wind speed, the tropical depression, whatever, all of the different things, atmospheric pressure, the moisture, the humidity, relative humidity, all these things have a electromagnetic translation. So wherein electromagnetic fields characteristic of the storm are altered, controlled, or manipulated. Now, number 3, a method of disrupting hurricane activity by preventing an electrical connection of the electrical helical coil of an impending storm, or creating an electrical disconnect in an existing storm through any means available, wherein rotation is maintained by electromagnetic induction and the consumption of conductive materials in the area surrounding the hurricane, both in the air and in the ocean, comprising of these following steps. So it's talking about there electromagnetic induction, electromagnetic waves, electromagnetic transmissions, and conductive materials surrounding the hurricane. So what did we see there? All along the edge of the Gulf Stream, the northern jet stream, and the weather system that storm was being pushed along with, all seeded. All these materials were conductive materials were seeded at the surrounding area of the storm. Now we're going to go down here, and we're going to finish up here on the patent here. And then it says here, and wherein the chemical agent is delivered to the area ahead of the storm and or hurricane by remotely piloted plane, drone, or other dispersion vehicle. So there we go. All of the components required for modifying a hurricane, all talked about, or a storm, all talked about there. Like we have documented here in this video, all the evidence is there. All the electromagnetic activity, all of the chemtrailing, spraying, conductive materials all along the edge of the weather system and steering it into desired locations to cause climate chaos. Just unbelievable. Now, we're just going to look at one more patent. Sorry, this has gone on a bit long here now, but it's very important that we have a look at these patents because there are over 1,100 patents for weather modification. All weather processes have been patented. So to make it rain, to make it snow, to slow down a hurricane, to create wind, to suppress hailstones, you name it. Every weather process has been patented through means of artificial processes. So look, we're going to have a look here at US Patent 2024. This is an application, but listen to this. This application outlines technology designed to identify ocean-based weather systems and use electromagnetic radiation from a space platform to track and interact with them. The stated purpose is to prevent the weather system from rotating and developing into a land-based storm. Now, if you believe that these psychopaths have our best interest at heart and they want to save us from weather systems, well, that's your business. But I know that our weather is 100% manipulated, controlled, and completely hijacked. Our atmosphere completely. There's no natural weather anymore. And these psychos have no best interest for any of us. Obviously, they're not going to show us a patent that shows us that they're able to create a hurricane. And we're just going to look at this last one now. This patent, along with related filings by Andrew Waxmansky, propose using electromagnetic fields, radiation, or sound waves to misbalance or suppress spinning atmospheric phenomena, tornadoes and hurricanes. How about that? Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, okay, we're going to look here now at, this is Lyndon Johnson, before he came president, the year before he came president, talking about controlling the weather.
It lays the foundation for the development of a weather satellite.
1962.
That will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather. And he who controls the weather will control the world.
So there we go. He who controls the weather will control the world. Okay, JFK also talked about this. Not going to play this now, but he also said something similar. And it's just been going on so long, people, and it's just time we all woke up. People say, what can we do? Anything but nothing. Our silence is consenting to this. And when enough of us wake up to this, and especially when the order followers stop taking orders, when the pilots stop, I don't know, they have no involvement in it, by the way, and we're going to show you that now in a second, but with the order followers, all of the guys putting the chemicals on the planes, we need whistleblowers to come forward. We need the military and the police on our side. We just need a massive consciousness shift, a shift in consciousness all around the world to hold these bastards accountable and have them brought to justice. Anyhow, Mikhail Gorbachev, 1996. This is a quote from Mikhail Gorbachev, 1996. The threat of environmental crisis is the international disaster key to unlock the New World Order. Now, okay, sorry, I'm going on a bit long here now, but this is very important. People ask, are the pilots aware of this? Are they flicking like a switch in the cockpit? Okay? Do the pilots say, okay, now we've got to flick here? No, they wouldn't. It's all AI controlled through a centralized weather control center. Okay? Now, myself and Harry Rhodes, actually, it's coincidental. Harry is messaging me there now as we're talking. This is Harry in the middle with his son Lexon and Martin Beard to the left. This is 2015 at the Met Office headquarters in Exeter in England. And we went to an open day there. And one of the first things we noticed on the grounds was when we arrived, this sign, we were met with this. This is a prohibited place within the meaning of the Official Secrets Act. Unauthorized persons entering the area may be arrested and prosecuted. So it's protected. The Met Office headquarters is protected by the Official Secrets Act. It's weather is a top secret. All weather employees have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. That's a fact. All weather employees, because it's such sensitive information. Now, why do they have to sign? Why is it so sensitive, the Met Office headquarters? Why is it protected by the Official Secrets Act? Because it houses this supercomputer. It's the world's most powerful. There's a few of these around the world, but this is the world's most powerful atmospheric supercomputer. It knows everything that's going on in every square inch of the atmosphere worldwide. So if you want a supercomputer to orchestrate a global, a worldwide weather control program, this is the machine for the job. Okay, so we're gonna just show you an illustration here now, just to show you what I'm talking about. So there's the Met Office headquarters, the ground station. Let's say the Bay of Biscay and what we looked at there off Morocco needs to be seeded. The northern jet stream is making landfall and we need to deflect it up towards Ireland and the UK, and we need to fill it with poison. All the planes in that area will be sent a signal from the Met Office, being the ground station here in this illustration, up to the satellite, back down to the plane, and it activates those spray jets that I showed you. That's it. That's how they're doing it. All right, that's how they're doing it. The pilots would have no involvement, okay? All automated. Pure evil, pure evil, pure evil. It's horrific. If you're new to this information, it is horrific, but it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Now, I'm going to play out. I know this has gone on a bit long here, but I'm going to play out with this. It's very important. This is a 1959 science factual...
Watch your baby.
A 1959 science factual documentary which describes the future of weather control. It's called Eyes in Outer Space. This is my beautiful website, okay? climatechangeagenda.com. You go to the drop-down menu, you go to documentation. No, you don't. You go back. Sorry. You go to documentation and then films. Now, Eyes in Outer Space. Just take a look at this.
Let us project our present knowledge with a little imagination.
So this is a weather control center. This is 10 minutes long. We're going to play out with this now. But this is the Met Office, okay? Now, there's a scenario here where in the control center here, you got all these personnel and they've been advised that there's a hurricane making landfall towards America. The eastern United States, and they are ordered to deploy all weather control technology in order to deflect the hurricane back out to sea to stop it causing storm damage on land. Now, this is all about using weather control for good, but they're not using it for good. They're using it for nefarious purposes. But it's just amazing. We can see all the technology now that we described, that we saw the evidence of being used in this video here today and yesterday all around Europe and in America. All the technology that they're using now, that they're tampering and with our atmosphere with and creating these storms and hurricanes with. Everything we documented is all talked about in this. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. Just look at this. Mind-blowing. 1959. This is how far back the desire goes to control the weather. They knew what was to come.
And speculate on how satellites might be used in future operations.
They were already well underway. They already were able to control hurricanes back then. Project Storm Fury. Google that.
From a worldwide weather center. This is the master control room. Electronic maps and view screens display up-to-the-minute pictures of the weather around the Earth. Every hour, reports are automatically received from all points at sea, on land, and in the air. 22,000 miles out in space, 3 robot satellites train their sensitive television eyes on all parts of the Earth. These pictures are monitored on viewing screens in the Weather Center. Here in the computing room, electronic machines digest the constant flood of information received from all stations. This is then translated into an ever-changing diagram of the Earth's weather. Forecasts for every sector of the globe are made months in advance. Prediction charts have indicated that a powerful hurricane will begin forming today in the Atlantic Ocean. The electronic weather map shows an intense storm system building up about 1,000 miles due east of Miami, Florida. The controller calls for a close-up satellite view of the troubled area.
Coordinates: Coco 526, Yankee 2.5.
Okay, controller. Coco 526, Yankee 2.5.
The characteristic swirling clouds of the hurricane are beginning to form. At sea, the waves anticipate the violence to come. The controller calls for a last-minute prediction of the hurricane's path. If control measures are not begun at once, the hurricane will smash across densely populated areas within 48 hours.
11 a.m. EST. A hurricane is forming 960 miles east of Miami, Florida. If control measures are ineffective, it will pass inland at Cape Hatteras in 48 hours. Control operations will begin within 2 hours, but safety precautions should be completed from Cape Fear, north no later than 6 p.m. tomorrow.
At Weather Central, the control strategy is mapped out. A ridge of high pressure slants across the eastern United States between two low-pressure storm systems. If these two storm centers are intensified, the high will build up along the coast, forming a barrier that will turn the hurricane out to sea.
Stand by. Now pulling in satellite number 1 for visual check of low-pressure systems L20 and L21.
The operator brings the satellite into focus on the two storms, one centered over Kansas, the other over Labrador.
Changing the northeastern low, L21.
With a touch of a button, the battle begins. On the ground, chemical cloud seeders begin to work the two storm areas. Robot planes seed the clouds from above. The storm centers over Kansas and over Labrador intensify as seeding continues.
Now changing over to Hurricane Center H8.
The fury of the hurricane mounts as 100-mile-an-hour winds lash the sea to a foaming frenzy.
All stations, Sector C. Activate Phase 2, Control Plan Delta. Set vapor rockets for 42,000 feet. Execute.
As an emergency measure, the controller calls for a salvo of vapor rockets to be fired ahead of the path the hurricane is predicted to take. These artificial clouds will block the sun from evaporating more water to feed the hurricane. The reports coming into the control center indicate that the diversionary cloud seeding over Kansas is now creating a flood danger. Specially equipped robot aircraft are dispatched immediately to release a high concentration of cloud seeding material into the fringes of the storm. Heavier seeding from the ground also helps to subdue the rain by spreading it over a wider area. The controller calls for another view of the hurricane, which has now moved closer to the coast.
Signal out on number 1 satellite. 10-minute interruption for correction. Have you anything else in the area?
Satellite station S1 is approaching area. We'll make contact. S1, this is Weather Central. Request video signal at grid coordinates Coco.
An emergency situation has developed. In an orbiting space station 1,000 miles above the hurricane, a crewman sends a temporary picture back to Weather Central.
Okay, S1, your video is R5S5. Thank you.
The hurricane has stopped moving toward the coast, but is still intensifying. It must be made to move northward and out to sea. This is a crisis.
Aberdeen Station. Activate multiple seeding rockets on course 117 range.
The controller decides to fire cloud seeding rockets just ahead of the hurricane, hoping to start it moving. Slowly, the hurricane begins to shift. All available forces have been brought into play. Now we can only watch and wait. Of tension, the turning point is reached. Latest reports indicate the control strategy is successful. At last, the high-pressure ridge has settled along the coast, forming an invisible wall of safety. The storm is over. Has passed. The hurricane has been defeated, turned away from the land, and left to spend itself harmlessly far out at sea. In the world of tomorrow, weather control will enrich and safeguard our daily lives. In the foreseeable future, we will conquer more than violent storms. We will turn the destructive elements of today into new sources of power, shaping the land on which we live. All mankind will benefit. Arid wastelands will be made green and fertile, and vast frozen areas will become productive. To this end, man-made satellites will probe the secrets of the skies. They will be our eyes in outer space.
Wow, how about that? The future of weather control depicted right there. Now, obviously, the Met Office hasn't got personnel there flicking switches and all. It's all done by AI. And when you see a weather forecast, it's not a forecast, it's a weather schedule. All of this, the weather that we see every day is all scheduled. It's all engineered and scheduled weather. It's not forecasts. This is how they can be so accurate. It's not forecasting, it's scheduling. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's an unbelievable truth to wake up with it, but it's real, and it's happening. And they're blocking our sun, and they are killing all life. That's the ultimate goal here. Not only to enslave us all, using weather as the ultimate weapon, and as LBJ talked about, to control the weather is to control the world, because when you control the weather, you control economies. 80% of the world's economy is weather sensitive. You control the weather, you control agriculture, you control food, you control people, but you control the atmosphere, and you control whether people live or die. And since these programs were deployed large scale in the late 80s, early 90s, to block the sun and control the weather on a large scale, Earth has lost half its wildlife. So perilous times, my friends, perilous times. So we have a duty of care as caretakers of this beautiful planet we live on to do all we can to expose this evil. Because all it takes for evil men and tyrants to prosper is for good men and women to do nothing. Do what you can today, because the future and the destiny of life on Earth depends on you.